Hello, everyone. You're welcome to another exciting and interesting, engaging episode on the Emorgate Radio Communications program. My name is Adikbeju Jayoba, and it's such a joy and a delight to have you join me today. If you're in a country where you're observing the Eid holidays, I hope you're taking out time to rest and to, make use of this valuable time bonding with friends and family. And if you're not observing the holidays, I hope you're enjoying your day and you're being productive at work. Together, you and I have been looking at organizational productivity and performance management, and it's been such a journey together. And one of the things that we have established is that performance management is a continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals and teams and aligning performance with the strategic goals and objectives of your organization. So performance management refers to the set of processes, procedures, or systems you put in place that is aimed at developing employees so that they perform their best at the job to the best of their ability. The goal of performance management is to help employees build on skills that enable them to perform better at their roles. That is a very vital component or benefit or importance of performance management. It is to ensure that the employees are better, they're equipped with the competencies that is required to achieve set organizational goals. And so performance management is that continuous process that empowers and trains, coaches, and develops employees to the end that they can achieve set organizational goals. Now, together we've also looked at, the different models and approaches to performance management. We have looked at the benefits of performance management. We've looked at how to avoid bias when, handling performance management. We've also looked at the impact of organizational culture on performance management. If you missed any of this episode, you can visit our show reel on MixLR, and I'm sure you're going to get very useful insights that will be very beneficial to you. In today's episode, we're going to be considering something very, important, and it is a very vital component of the performance management cycle or the performance management process. Now, since we've started this series, one of the things that I'm sure we can infer is that organizations, no matter their nature or size or, type, be it a private or public organization, every organization always aim at achieving their corporate goals. That is the truth. Every organization desires to achieve their corporate goals. Otherwise, the survival of such enterprise will be more of a dream than a reality, because if an organization is not meeting its goals or its vision, that organization is probably close to being extinct. So organizations, when they employ or when they hire employees, they are hoping this new hires or this new individuals that have come on board their team will help achieve a high measure of productivity in the organization, which will lead to success of achieving the goals and the objectives or the vision of the organization. And if we look at today's competitive and, evolving business sphere, more business owners are looking for, ways to improve in quality, but also reduce costs. And it means that employers are looking for more out of employees, but at the same time, employees are also looking out for more in their employers. For example, a recent study showed that 67% of persons will go for organizations that offer opportunity for continuous learning, meaning that employees are looking for organizations that would, empower them, allow them grow, allow them become better, in their skills and abilities. Employees want to be a part of a system that is continually growing, which means that employees are also demanding or requiring more from the employers. And what this means is that there are times when the interests of the employers are not aligning with the interest of the employees. Now, let's not forget that performance management is aimed at empowering the employees so that they can achieve organizational goals. And so when the interests are not aligning, how would the employees achieve set corporate organizational goals? And so this brings me to the subject of today, which is the part of rewards and recognition in performance management. The place of rewards and recognition in performance management. So one of the most effective ways of aligning the interest and the goals, personal goals of employees and the corporate goals of the organization, is through a good reward management system, because it is capable of motivating and stimulating employees. So when we're talking about a reward management system, what are we talking about exactly? I'm referring to a set of tools, processes, and policies that allow organizations to monitor and improve employee performance while recognizing and rewarding employees fairly for their contributions. According to the definition provided by Bratton, a reward management system refers to all the monetary, non-monetary, and psychological payments that an organization provides for its employees in exchange for the work they perform and to reward their performance or their contribution to the organization. And so this means that the reward system or reward management system in an organization can either be intrinsic or extrinsic. It can either be monetary or non-monetary. When we're talking about, intrinsic rewards, we're talking about rewards that relate to, inner satisfaction that is derived from actually performing the job, such as, a sense of contributing something to the society, or that, satisfaction that comes from personal fulfillment. While extrinsic rewards talk about external things, there are items that can be seen, such as, financial payments, bonuses, promotion, or, adjusting the working conditions so that, the employee is empowered or celebrated or recognized for their contribution to the organization. And so one of the things that we're going to be looking at today is how you can maximize the reward management system to motivate and stimulate your employees to give their best in the workplace. So what is the benefits, or what are the benefits of a performance management and reward system? The first on the list, as you can guess, is that it increases employee motivation and engagement. That is the truth. I'm sure you also want to be celebrated. You also want to be recognized for your efforts. You want to receive a thank you for a job well done. And it is the same across board. So a performance management and reward system that links employee rewards with how well they do work is one that will increase motivation amongst its employees. So, in this system, managers have the opportunity to invest substantial time towards meaningful activities, such as, checking in on employees, giving them some wonderful comments. Like I said, rewards can be intrinsic. So sometimes it's not about just doling out the cash and dropping it on the table. Hey, well done, thumbs up, excellent job. Oh, this is great. Can motivate your employees to give their best at their job. This is very, very important. And in turn, when you have an effective rewards management system in place in your organization that recognizes the performance of employees, it increases the likelihood of job satisfaction and fulfillment, which will lead to increased engagement on the job. Another benefit of having an effective reward system in your organization is that it improves productivity and performance. That is a given. So these systems, the reward systems, enhance the overall efficacy of the organization. Employees who are performing well will deliver outstanding work and be more inclined to take on, new tasks or new activities and keep moving forward. Look at children. When a child takes one step and they are celebrated, they are encouraged to take another step. When a child starts to learn, the alphabet and they start, with ABC, even when, they probably model it up along the line. When you encourage them and cheer them up, they are encouraged to learn. But the moment you boo, the children, or you say, oh no, you've gotten it wrong and all that you stifle, the learning process, and then the children are afraid to try again. In the same vein, employees will perform better when they are recognized and when they are celebrated. And, I would like to say this again and again. It doesn't have to be monetary. Now, I'm not saying monetary rewards are not good. We will get into that. But sometimes just, a comment, celebrating them at a staff briefing, telling other members of the team to celebrate a particular employee for their effort and their contributions can go a long way in motivating the employees, and it will make them deliver better on their jobs. It is very, very important. Another benefit of having an effective rewards management system in your organization is it enhances employee retention and loyalty, because everyone wants to belong to an organization that values them and recognizes their efforts. I would want to belong to an organization that recognizes my effort and celebrates me when due. That is the truth. So because human capital is such a valuable asset, it is crucial to discover methods to retain your employees. Employee, autonomy and loyalty is augmented when they are given a chance to relentlessly pursue targets and when they are recognized for meeting those targets. Employees would have a great sense of ownership. They feel like they belong to your organization when they are given, targets, and when they are celebrated or recognized for meeting those targets. And even when they don't meet the, set goals, when they are recognized for their efforts, okay, let's say the goals that were set is to have 1,000 new clients in the organization, and they didn't hit that target of getting 1,000 new clients, but they put in their effort and they got in 650 new clients. They should still be recognized and rewarded, because it showed that at least they put in their efforts and they brought in new persons even though they did not hit the target. And when that is done, it greatly inspires your employees and it increases their loyalty to the organization, and in turn increases employee retention in the organization. And when that happens, it urges your employees to stay with the organization because they know they are valued and they are recognized. Very important. The last benefit of having an effective reward system I'll be considering today is alignment of individual and organizational goals. Like I said, in today's dynamic world, employers or business owners seek more from employees, and employees are also seeking more from employers. Gone are the days when all employees want is just basic pay. Now, a lot of employees are seeking, psychological safety. They're seeking an organization that, values their mental health. They're looking for organizations that invest in work-life balance. Employees are looking out for more in organizations. So when you have an effective reward system in your organization, it encourages individuals to bring together or align their personal objectives with organizational objectives. Of course, this, process is continuous and ongoing. It has to consistently go on in the organization. But when employees are recognized and rewarded for their performance and contribution to achieving organizational goals, they will constantly work towards that goal. They will constantly be motivated to work towards that goal, because they know that as they are working towards that goal, they are also being trained and empowered to become better, and they are increasing in skills, abilities, and competencies, which is a bonus or an addition for the employees. So it is very important that you have an effective rewards system in your organization. Now, having looked at or having considered the benefits of having an effective rewards system in your performance management process, how do you implement a reward system? How do you go about it? Is it by just, coming to the office and saying, this 3 employees did well this month, so I'm going to be giving them extra $10,000. Ooh, is it about that, or are there strategic steps to put in place when you want to implement an effective reward management system? So the first step we'll be considering today is define organizational goals and objectives. Define organizational goals and objectives. One of the things you want to do is that you want to outline your desired results, or at the very minimum, your methodology for goal setting. You want to ensure that your employees know what is expected of them. Because how do you rate me for something I'm not aware of? It will be unfair. If I don't know that, let me give an example. If I don't know that, if I'm in a school system and I don't know that to pass a certain course, I have to get a certain mark, let's say, the pass mark is 50. If I don't know there is a standard of 50 points, I can as well just, be lackadaisical about reading. I might not give it my best. And then if I get, 48, I might feel like, 48 is not bad. And then I'm told I failed. That can be really painful, because I probably didn't know there was a standard. But once I know there is a standard, point I have to achieve to pass the course, I will want to give my best to ensure that I meet the standard. In the same vein, it is important that, organizations set clear organizational goals and objectives. So it means that managers need to work with staff members to create performance management targets that will allow them to consistently earn the greatest rewards. Because once employees know this is what is expected of them, then they can create pathways to achieving those goals. One of the things this will do is that it will align organizational goals, and it will represent both professional and personal aspirations to both the management and to the employees. Now, after you've defined the organizational goals, the next thing you want to do is set clear performance standards and metrics. The first is define the organizational goals. This is what we want to achieve in this quarter. This is what we want to achieve in this year. The next thing you want to do is you want to set the standards and the metrics for measuring performance. So you want to select the right criteria and metrics or methods for measuring the performance. So you must keep an eye on the metrics to guarantee that they are still relevant and consistent with the organization's changing objectives. So one of the things you want to do is you want to constantly, evaluate and refine the metrics. And you also want to ensure that the employees are aware of the metrics that will be used to evaluate their performance. So, are you using the 360-degree feedback, or are you using the, behavioral anchored rating scales, or are you using, the graphical rating scales? They must know that, we're going to rate you on a scale of 1 to 5. So employees know what to expect. They know, for a person who wants to get a rating of 5, they know the amount of effort and energy to put into the work. So you must select the right criteria. One of the things you want to check is that, does this method adequately measure the performance of employees? You want to check that. Does it adequately measure the performance? It's very important. I remember reading, a report about, sales executives, and, there were 2 reports. It was a 360-degree feedback, and there were 2 reports regarding the sales executives. Some of the customers said they preferred a particular sales executive because he was straight and, direct, telling them this was what, the business was about, and he was about the business. And that particular sales executive had the highest record of clients brought in. However, the percentage ratings that the clients or the customers gave this particular sales executive was not as high as another sales executive who did not clinch as many clients, but the clients who commented said this other sales executive had a very pleasant, disposition and behavior. This person was kind and was, polite and was concerned about their well-being much more than wanting to sell, the office product to them. And because of that, this other sales executive, even though didn't bring in as much, deals, had a higher rating on his performance evaluation. So those are the things you want to check out. You want to ensure that the metrics that you set can actually measure the performance of the employees. That is very, very important, because one of the things that would do is that it will, it would ensure that there is a fair and reliable evaluation across board for the employees. The next strategic step you want to implement after you've defined your organizational goals and you've set the standards and metrics for performance is establish a regular feedback and coaching mechanism. Now, you don't want to just leave people hanging. We are achieving this. This is how we are going, this is what we want to do. And then you're leaving your employees to figure it out by themselves. No, you want to establish a regular feedback and coaching mechanism. So even if your, the formal performance management system takes place semi-annually or annually, and I'm talking about, performance appraisal, continuous feedback is vital. Remember that one thing we've said about performance management is that it's a continuous, ongoing process. It does not stop. It is continuous. And one of the drivers of performance management is communication. So continuous feedback is very essential. So consider, whether the feedback process is offering, guidance, positive guidance for the employees and constructive feedback. You must be able to tell the employees that they are on the right track. And if they are veering off, let them know. No one wants to wait till the end of the journey thinking they've achieved something only to be told that all their effort and energy was for naught. It does not feel good. Imagine an athlete running the wrong direction and no one can tell the athlete, or no one can signal the athlete and say, no, you're running in the wrong direction. You should be running the other way. The athlete would exert so much energy and strength thinking, yes, I'm heading towards the finishing line, only to get, to the supposed finishing line and discover that, they didn't, they were running in the wrong direction. That would be very, very demoralizing. So in the same vein, you want to ensure that there is continuous feedback. You also want to hear from your employees about the process, the work process. Is it stressful? Do they need trainings? Do they need more time? You want to ensure that you're hearing from your employees regarding the process that it takes to achieve whatever project you have put before them. So employees must constantly receive the necessary coaching, counseling, support and encouragement that they need. And this should be able to help them to earn the rewards that they are aiming for. So if the rewards is, whoever, achieves this would earn a 5% increase in salary, or earn, a paid vacation at the end of the year, and the employees are working towards that, you want to constantly, allow them know that they are on track towards achieving that. Otherwise, your performance management and reward system may have a counterproductive effect. The next strategic step to implement to have an effective reward system while running your performance management, process or cycle is you must conduct fair and unbiased performance evaluations. Very key. You must conduct fair and unbiased performance evaluations. So what will constitute a fair and unbiased performance evaluation? So the first is employee self-evaluation and appraisal by the manager or peer as per particular criteria. Remember, when we talked about the second step, setting metrics. When the employee is going to be evaluated, ensure that they are evaluated according to the metrics that have been set, not according to another standard. So if you say we're going to rate you based on 1 to 5, don't come and, use a free essay method where the evaluator just writes, something about them. Ensure that they are evaluated based on the criteria. What is the criteria? Achieve 1,000 new clients, or get 1,000 new clients to the organization. Then maybe the second step, get 500 new clients. Another gets 100 new. So they know the standards, and make sure they are evaluated according to that criteria. So this will call for, completing an evaluation form, based on the collection of competencies that will be assessed on a predetermined scale. The second step involved in conducting a fair and unbiased performance evaluation is finalize every employee's appraisal findings and integrate them into other process, which includes rewards and recognition. Make sure that for every employee that is evaluated, ensure that the evaluation is complete across board. Ensure that it is the same across board for all employees. If you're evaluating them for the past 1 year, ensure you're evaluating for everyone the past 1 year. Not that for some you're evaluating them for 6 months, some 8 months. No, ensure that you finalize their appraisal findings and integrate these findings into every other process, which includes the rewards and recognition. Then the third step involved in running a fair evaluation process is that all evaluators must employ a comparable criteria and scale when rating an employee. This means that the manager must draw the employee's file from the vantage point of the specified criteria or competencies. And this means, simple terms, it means that evaluators must review employees with the same scale across board, with the same competencies. If you're testing for how competent they were as sales executive, it must be the same across board, not a different scale for some set of employees and a different scale for another set of employees. No, it must be the same across board based on the specified criteria that's been predetermined in your metrics. So after running a fair and unbiased performance system, the next strategic step that you want to look at is design and implement a rewards and recognition program. Design and implement a rewards and recognition program. So now that you've set your metrics, you've communicated to the employees what is expected of them, you've set your metrics, there's continuous feedback and communication going on. The next thing you want to do is to set a rewards and recognition program. So rewards and recognition, we said it already, is a vital component of the performance management process. So you want to set up the system to reward employees. So one of the things you want to consider is that do you want to run a monetary or financial system, or do you want to run other reward system that includes new learning initiatives where they go for trainings, go for paid trainings, or some enterprise acknowledgement program where they're necessarily not giving money, but probably they're giving some award or plaque to celebrate them, or they're considered as prospects for leadership. So you want to ensure that you set up the system or the program to reward and recognize your employees. It is very important, and ensure that employees know that such program is on board, because it will inspire and motivate them at work. Very important. And then the last strategic step in implementing an effective rewards system is monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of the system. So once the performance management and reward system has been implemented throughout the organization, the next thing you want to do is to monitor and evaluate its effectiveness using clear metrics. You want to check if it has really been effective in improving employee productivity and performance. You want to check that, else your reward system will be counterproductive. It won't achieve the purpose for which it has been set up. So you want to check the total number of persons that were rewarded. You want to check the quality of their performance afterwards. You also want to check the acceptance of that rewards program amongst employees. As a business owner, as a manager, you might think a particular rewards program is the best, like, oh, they will love this, and then the employees are like, it doesn't make us feel recognized, or it doesn't make us feel rewarded. This is what we would have preferred this. For example, if you say, oh, paid trainings, we're paying a lot of money for your trainings, and they're like, we don't want paid trainings, give us the money, we would organize our own trainings, or we would do our own trainings online. So you want to check the acceptance of the rewards among the employees. You also want to check return on investment or overall cost benefit ratio. After spending that amount, was it worth it? It is very important you check that. You must monitor and evaluate the success of that rewards system in your organization. One other thing you want to also put in consideration is the negative reactions or feedbacks that come after the reward system have been implemented. Don't close your ears to negative feedback or to negative comments. It might just be pointing your attention to something that needs to be changed or improved on. That is very important. So very quickly, let's look at some common challenges that can come up while implementing a performance management system, reward system, and how you can go about it, or some ways you can go about it. So the first is resistance to change and lack of employee buy-in. So your employees may feel anxious about a new project or a new goal. Say we're going to achieve 1,000 or we're going to get 1,000 new clients, and they're feeling overburdened, they're feeling anxious about it, they're probably tense about achieving or that change or what it would mean to them. Probably it would mean working extra hours. It would probably mean putting in more effort and more energy, and they might just view the entire project process or the entire performance management process as another obligation they need to add to their to-do list. And sometimes you may just see that even when you add rewards, employees are necessarily not pushing to achieve the set goals and objectives. It can even worsen amongst them when they begin to convince one another not to necessarily embark on achieving that project. What do you want to do? One of the things is that you want to inform your employees about the rationale behind the objectives of the organization. You also want to inform them about the benefits of the performance management system. If they're going to be going through trainings and constant coaching and development, you want to show them the benefits. I believe that no one would reject anything that would be beneficial to them. So you want to clearly communicate the benefits of the performance management system to them. Another thing you can do is that you can involve your employees in the goal setting procedure, so that it increases their appreciation for being a part of the process. You want to bring them on board, take into account their suggestions, their worries, and put it into play when achieving the project. That would really help employees to buy into achieving goals and earning rewards that you set for goals. Another thing you want to look at is if you're faced with inconsistent or biased evaluations. If your employees feel that the process is biased and that individuals are being rewarded unjustly, or they feel like the ratings is being influenced by their managers or their supervisors' subjective opinion and partiality. It happens when an employee feels like, I deserved that promotion or I deserved that bonus, not this other person. My manager is just picking on me. Or they could think that certain efforts was not put into consideration. Maybe someone put in so much effort but didn't actually achieve the goal. But they put in so much effort. They went out every day. They learned new skills. But if for some reason, they didn't achieve that, and you feel like, well, my efforts should also be recognized. So how do you deal with an inconsistent or biased evaluation? You can address this by publishing your evaluation and reward standards publicly. One of the things you want to do is to ensure that everyone is aware of the metrics. Remember, we talked about that in your strategy step. They are aware of the metrics you're using. If you're using performance, that's achievement, let them know it's achievement, or outcomes, let them know that they are being rewarded based on outcomes. And if it's based on effort, let them also know it's based on effort. If it's based on their responses, behavioral responses, let them know. Let it be publicly published, whether on your organization's intranet or the information board or in the employee handbook. It must be clear to employees your performance management metrics. You also want to train your managers on bias-free evaluations and how to transparently communicate with employees. That is very, very important. The last challenge I'll be considering today that can face you while implementing a reward system is lack of resources and support from top management. Now, as a HR manager or a supervisor, you want to reward your employees. You've put together a beautiful plan, and you're excited about this. You believe it would encourage and motivate your employees, but you're not getting the necessary backing that you need from the top executives, or you're not, getting the adequate resources that is needed to drive the rewards system. Remember that leaders are responsible for driving the process, and integrating rewards culture, rewards system into the organizational culture. But when you're not getting this support, or you're not getting the resources that you need from the organization, the executives of the organization, what can you do? You can, overcome this by, building a performance-oriented HR and manager skills over time. One of the things you want to show the executives is that doing this will increase the performance and the productivity of the organization, which will in turn lead to success, a successful achievement of goals and objectives in the organizations. So you can start to show, or you can start to, align skills in your organization of employees to be performance oriented, so that the executives can see the benefits of, reward system in motivating and inspiring employees to work. Wow, we've said a lot today, and I hope you've learned a lot today. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate, you coming today, and I hope you've learned something that is very valuable. For your comments, for your feedback, and for your questions, you can visit us at www.theamorgate.org. You can also follow us on social media handles on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to walk with you. We'd love to, talk with you. That is why we are here. Until I come your way same time next week, keep being amazing and keep reaching for the stars. Bye for now.